Good day and welcome back to another World of Warcraft video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the Revisited Horrific Visions and basically give you a complete guide as to how to partake in the event, everything you need to know about it, the rewards, the mounts, everything. So let's talk about access to the visions. Horrific visions can be accessed when you are max level 80. You can access the quest from your adventure log, or you can find it in Dornigal. It's easiest just to choose it from your adventure log, and then a quest will spawn up, which you can travel to begin the intro. Now the intro to Horrific Visions is pretty straightforward. I'm not going to run you through it because it's a very simple process. You will complete a couple rudimentary quests and then you will be tasked with entering the Horrific Visions for the first time. Now the first time you enter the Horrific Visions, you'll be restricted to the starting zone, and all you simply have to do is run to the very first elite, which is the skull on the map, and then you can take on Illyria, which will be a very straightforward fight for you, and then you can beat her, and then you have finished the intro. This will enable you to basically re-enter Horrific Visions, as well as unlock some of the crucial upgrade mechanics that you need to begin your journey through this content. Now, something super important before we begin about the basics: Horrific Visions can be attempted as a solo player or with a group of friends. So you don't have to do them solo. You can do them with your friends, and your friends' upgrades and certain abilities will apply. Now let's talk about the basics of Horrific Visions. So the key and most crucial basic to Horrific Visions is the giant little bar you see in the middle of your kind of screen. This is your sanity meter. Should your sanity meter reach 0, then you will not be able to revive your character. Your character will die and the run will end. If you have certain powers and abilities that you can unlock later on, this can be circumvented a little bit, but essentially sanity is the core component of these runs. Now, just passively standing in an area will remove sanity, and the harder the area or the deeper you go into the Corrupted Nightmare, the more your sanity will be drained. Now, something super important is that you can restore your sanity through various methods. The simplest and first method you'll obtain is through sanity orbs. These can be deployed after your initial run and allow you to restore your sanity all the way up to max. In terms of the other methods, these are based on your progress through your upgrade tree. You can reduce the rate at which your sanity goes down. You can increase your sanity through elite kills. A tip to give players is to really try to maximize your orbs in the beginning and only use them when you are really at the end of your bar to try to maximize it. If you are playing with other players, they can revive you, but this will utilize an orb in the process. So what is the goal of the vision? Well, the goal of the vision is to complete the 5 main objectives. There are 4 zones in total outside of the starting area, and each of them has a specific goal in mind. These goals are fairly straightforward, requiring you largely to essentially complete a certain task. For example, in this area in Stormwind, I have to place 8 bombs. In another area, I have to rescue some captives. The objectives basically need to be completed, and once completed you will face a boss in each area. Should you complete all 4 additional objectives and areas, then you will return to the main boss, and they will be augmented with various powers from those bosses, as well as being made stronger. But during this process you will earn yourself a ton of corrupted memories, resource upgrades, and all the things you need to make your next run in the Nightmare very much easier. The final boss will be based on the powers per area completed. Should you complete certain areas or all the areas, she will feature boss powers from each of those bosses. So the boss will change depending on which zone you're doing. Now, Orgrimmar and Stormwind rotate weekly, so 1 week will be Stormwind, 1 week will be Orgrimmar, and the boss for Stormwind is Illyria, while the boss for Orgrimmar is Thrall. The powers will also change, the sub-bosses will change per area, but the concept is the same. You will basically take on the boss, have to beat them, defeat them, and in doing so will secure yourself some guaranteed fantastic rewards. Now, if you fail to beat the boss, don't panic. You can still collect most of the rewards you've collected throughout the run, like corrupted memories, and you will get your objective reward. It's just that your main reward will be slightly diminished. But that doesn't defeat the point, so you should always push yourself to try and do as much as possible in each run. It's always going to be worth it. When you are facing the final boss, please always be mindful that you want to avoid most of the damage, but mainly you want to avoid their corrupted blast attack. The game will give you an indication of when to hide behind certain pillars or obstacles, and you want to do this because this will reduce your sanity tremendously. It's not just about your kind of main abilities, it's actually also about your sanity, which is one of the key cornerstone components that you need to keep up to succeed in any given run. So this covers the basics of the run, but there are some additional things you can do. So firstly is potions. Now at the beginning of each run, in the Stormwind one, it's literally just past the first couple packs. In this corner you'll see kind of a defeated wizard, and then in Orgrimmar it is just past the first hut on your left. You will find a note. That note will tell you which potions are good and bad during the course of a run. Now, by getting potions, you gain additional effects. Sometimes, or most times, there are slight stat increases, but what the main one is should you get lucky, you can get an extra 100 sanity from the potions themselves. Once you figure out which color potion this is, it remains the same for the rest of the run. So for example, if I figure out that all red potions are giving me 100 sanity, then essentially I can keep just consuming the red ones for extra sanity. But feel free to consume any potion outside of the first one, as that initial potion will give you a sanity decrease, which obviously you don't want. So now how do we make each run easier? Well, the first is going to be your Hourglass Upgrades. Hourglass Upgrades are unlocked after the completion of the very first initial run. There are 3 main tracks of rewards, each offering different stages of boost. These power upgrades generally make your runs easier, with the first one being your orbs, but the rest all being unlocked with a very specific resource. Now this resource is pretty simple. It's called an Echo of Nzoth, and you get it by exchanging your corrupted displaced mementos, basically with the NPC Orgrimmar, and basically each week you can exchange up to 3 of these. You cannot exchange more each week, and it is tied to your warband, but the really cool thing here is that basically as you progress through these, your runs will get progressively easier. For example, you will get abilities that allow you to have automatic revives, reduce the rate at which your sanity is decreased, reduce your damage and increase your damage done, and eventually, if you manage to get all of the upgrades, you will unlock the final upgrade called Gift of the Titans. Gift of the Titans will give you a chance to get the Gift of the Titans buff, which will increase your haste and movement speed by 60% and reduce the ability entirely for you to lose sanity by 100% for 20 seconds. All of these buffs will help you as you will progress through the objectives, but also as you later challenge yourself with masks, which we'll talk about shortly. Another method of upgrade is tributes. There are 4 major tributes. You have tributes of the hunter, which will increase your movement speed for every enemy defeated, and haste, which allows you to run faster and kill enemies faster. Elite extermination, which will be something that allows you to recover sanity from elite kills. The experimental destabilization, which increases your damage done above 50% sanity and decreases damage taken below 50% sanity. And Tribute of Clear Sight, which will allow you to see loot treasures, which will give you additional rewards, which you can find in each area. These are all earned over time. The Vision Hunter one is increased by defeating just normal minions. The Elite Extermination is increased by defeating elites. The Experimental Destabilization is by defeating the bosses. And the Tribute of Clear Sight is obtained by obtaining potions throughout your runs. The more runs you do, the more enemies and things you collect, the faster these will go up and rank up, and the better your future runs will be. So it's kind of like a cascading waterfall effect. The last tip I can give you is in terms of sanity reduction. You get Steeled Mind from your Hourglass upgrades, but you also obtain 10% additional sanity resistance when you complete a area objective for the first time. And this stacks permanently. So for example, if I complete the 2 smaller objectives, then they will each give me a 10% permanent boost to my sanity resistance. This will then help me should I choose to take on the 3rd and 4th objectives, the larger objectives, which are showcased with the big purple deep tendrils. So why do we need all these upgrades? Well, you don't really need them for your first run. Your first run can be achieved relatively easily. You will need some time and some practice, but clearing all of the objectives and getting to the final boss shouldn't be something that's too challenging for all players. Definitely has its challenge, but it's not overtly difficult. The real challenge will be masks. Masks are additional modifiers that players can obtain after they complete their very first run. Masks will make the fight infinitely more difficult, thank you very much, based on how many they select. Not only do each mask give an additional 25% to the difficulty of the mobs in the area in terms of health and damage, but they actually apply an additional effect to players. Unlocking the masks can be seen on the right hand side. Completing all 5 objectives will give you your first mask, and then the other masks are obtained based on completing certain objectives within the zones while wearing a mask. Obviously, completing all of them is something that is good for achievements, but really to get kind of the highlight achievements, you only need to wear about 5 of them at once. Each mask has its own effect. The Faceless Mask of the Long Night will reduce your maximum sanity by 50%. The Faceless Mask of the Burned Bridge will cause void zones to appear, causing you to lose sanity. The Faceless Mask of the Daredevil causes all sanity damage by creature abilities to be increased. The Faceless Mask of the Pain will give each area 2 madnesses, which we saw on the madness screen. The Faceless Mask of Dark Imagination will cause an additional mob to attack you below 50% sanity. The Faceless Mask of Vengeance will give killing enemies, bolstering others with a buff. Faceless Mask of the Nemesis will give you a elite to fight every 25 kills, which is actually good for you. And then the Faceless Mask of Multitude, more enemies will be present, which is also kind of good for you as well in a way. So that's basically it in terms of the masks. They are quite challenging, but you should push yourself to try and complete them. They're something that makes the runs really, really fun, and by completing them you can gain access to greater rewards as well as some cool achievements. So now we understand the masks, we also need to understand runes. Runes are one of the major reasons for doing the corrupted visions. Runes will be unlocked through 2 quests, Barring Corruption, which will be unlocked after your first objective. This will be completable in 2 Revisited visions with all objectives unlocked. For every objective you clear, you will get 1 Black Blood residue. You will also collect the corrupted displaced mementos by defeating enemies. The Black Blood residue is based on your objectives completed. So for example, if I complete 2 zones, I will get 2 of them. If I complete all 4 in a run, I will get 4. Once you have completed this, you can hand it in, and this will unlock the lesser rune effects. Rune effects are more stable versions of the augmented effects, corrupted Nzoth effects, that we had during the BFA expansion. These corrupted Nzoth effects were great at the time, and these ones look really, really fun. You can still apply them to your helmet, and it will basically give you an additional almost legendary style effect. In terms of the lesser runes, those are locked with the first quest, whereas the second quest, Enhancing Corruption, will be unlocked immediately afterwards and will require you to again earn Black Blood Coagulate, and basically you will need to also get 1000 Displaced Corrupted Mementos. It's not too hard, but basically you can get them. This will require you, unfortunately, to do the larger, more difficult objectives, as you only get the Coagulate Blood from the Lost Area end chests, which are the 2 more difficult areas. so you'll be required to finish 4 runs of the 2 more difficult objectives. These are improved versions of the lesser rune effects and have the same effects just at a higher rate. So those should be what you strive for. These have a significant boost to your performance, so obviously you should try to get them. The next major reward would be the Void Touched weapons. The Void Touch weapons are available from 3 vendors right outside the portal spawn point for the corrupted Nzoth memories. Here we have a Heroic Weaponsmith vendor, Champion Weaponsmith vendor, and a Veteran Weaponsmith vendor. The weapons are unlocked by completing certain challenges within the scope of the corrupted visions. The Veteran, Champion, and Hero quite simply offer those tracks worth of levels of gear. If you are looking to obtain a hero level item, a hero level piece of gear, which is a 658 piece of gear, scaling upwards all the way into the 660s, this is a great place to start. Not only are they weapons, which makes them quite good upgrades, but the fact that you can achieve them entirely solo means that they're pretty cool for players who maybe are looking for alternative methods to obtain their strong weapons. Now, getting these weapons is not so easy. The first batch, the Veteran, will be obtained by completing 2 objectives. The second batch will be obtained by completing 4 objectives. And then the third set, the Heroic weapons, will require you to complete a full run while wearing 5 masks. This is not super duper easy, so getting the Heroic weapons will be a challenge, but it is something well worth it if you're looking to really give yourself big solo upgrades. But that isn't all. There's a Provisioner who is also located outside the portal, and they offer a variety of items, including 2 mounts, the really cool Corrupted Aspect, or Corruption of the Aspects, and then the Winged Scarab. Both of these are really cool, and on top of that we also have some fantastic transmog items, at least in terms of backpacks. But then we come to armor transmogs, and these are very debatable. I will say the armor sets available here are not the most inspiring, at least for me. Although if you're into that kind of Cthulhu H.P. Lovecraft flair, then this will definitely be the one for you. There is some merit in it, but it's just not something that I'm super duper fond of. Obviously you can buy all of these transmogs on one character, so you don't have to worry about investing or doing runs on every single character. You can get some pretty good value out of these yourself. The final set of rewards will be from the achievements. There are some other rewards from completing runs, like Titan Fragments, a couple Valor Stones, some crests, but really it is the weapons and the mounts that you're going to be looking for, alongside the runes, which will be pivotal for people looking to run BIS setups for Mythic and Heroic rating. Overall, the achievements do provide you with a further mount, the Shadow Worm, or the Nilothian Shadow Worm, I should say, which is obviously great. But beside from that, most of them are for bragging rights and unlocking things like the weapons. All in all, I think the Revisited Horrific Visions is a really fun event. I enjoyed the first one a lot, and I'll be grinding this one out with my friends. I think it is something that is incredibly fun and really awesome. So yeah, that's it from me. See you guys next time. Bye.